Hi, I'm Mike with the Hardwood Artisans, and I'm going to demonstrate on how to set up a Murphy bed and mechanism. You have the parts to the cabinet. You have a right side, a left side, a roof, a headboard, which is on the floor in here, and a footboard, which is on the floor in between the sides. And you put these parts together with these bolts right here. They're machine screws, and you make sure there's a washer on the one end. And you slide these two blocks here together like that. Okay, make sure the lights are on the inside, and make sure that the open space on the roof is on the back. And this cabinet is face down right now, so everything that's up in the air is the back and the part that goes up against the wall. These machine screws, you just run right in through the roof into the side into a T-nut. There's 6 total that hold on the roof to the sides. You want to make sure these blocks are tight. It's nice to tighten these up and not using the machine screw to pull the roof to the side. There. And that's how you connect the roof. And with the same hardware, you connect the headboard and the footboard exactly the same way. And once that's done, you stand the cabinet up and slide it on the false floor. And I'm going to take a break and put this together, and then show you once the cabinet's standing up. Okay, we have the headboard and footboard connected. It got connected just like the roof with the same screws, the machine screws. As you can see on the headboard, there's 2 right here on each side. The footboard, there's 2 on each side. Once all that's done, you want to start your wiring. And the way you do the wiring is you run the roof cord down this dado on the side, and plug it in to the switch on the headboard. Then the switch on the headboard, you run down the opposite side in the dado and set it in there. Now I'll explain real quick where this gets plugged in, but I'll show you again later. This plug gets plugged into the mercury switch that's on the mechanism. And then that mercury switch gets plugged into the wall. And what that mercury switch does, it automatically kills the lights when the bed is up. That's very important. You always want to make sure that the lights cut off when the bed is up, because the mattress is very close to the lights and it's a fire hazard. And I'm going to go over this again because I want to overemphasize that so that you're totally aware of this, because it's important. I hate to see anybody get hurt by the light staying on when the bed is up. So always make sure that's working, and if it's not, unplug the lights so nobody can accidentally close the bed with the lights on. Okay, Axel, now grab that end and we're going to stand this cabinet up. Pull it to you. Yeah. Pull it out more. Pull it. Yeah, there we go. Pull it out. Come on. Okay. Stand it up. Okay. Now, before I put this cabinet into place, I want to show you a couple of things. One is there's a floor. Okay, come on in a little closer, Sergio. This cabinet slides on that floor right there. This is the floor, and this is the base of the mech. And this thing slides in this dado right here on the bottom of each side. So as you're doing that, you also want to make sure that you slide it in without it sitting on any cords. Okay, let's slide it on. Oh, before we do that, let me go over one more thing. Let's slide this out to here real quick. Yeah. Sergio, come on in here. Now this is a spacer bar. If you ever get any wall units that sit beside the Murphy bed, the spacer bar will not be attached to the wall unit. What you want to do on installation is install this, let me see the screw gun, on the wall unit. Right here, like this. You'll see the mounting block on the back side, and you just take a screw and run it through the pre-drilled hole. Like right there. All right, you screw this block in to here. All right, this is the back side, but basically you put the spacer bar up against this front bar right here. Push it up against it and then screw it in, top to bottom. Now that's if you have wall units, and that's also if you have a spacer bar. Some customers get the wall units without this spacer bar, some get it with it. The advantage in the spacer bar is when the doors are open right to left, you can still open the doors on the wall units or open the drawers. If you don't have that spacer bar, when you open the doors to the right and left, you can't open anything on the wall units. Okay, now we'll get back to assembling the cabinet. All right, now that we have the cabinet in place and sitting on top of the false floor, come on in here, Sergio. We could show the customer the inside of this and how it should be. When the cabinet is sitting on the false floor, the mechanism, the false floor, should be scooted as far forward as possible, almost touching the footboard. and have the cabinet in the place that you want it and have it touching the wall here like this. I have it touching at the bottom, so we'll have to crank it back and flush it up to the wall. But before you tie it to the wall, you want to hang these doors. And what's used are these brass screws, and you run them through the hinge into these holes in the door. This cabinet will already be assembled before we send it to you, so it's all the holes will be in the side for each hinge. Also, make sure that you have the right door on the right side, the left door on the left side, and you'll be able to tell by the hinge holes, and you'll be able to tell by the handle. The door is upside down. This handle will be, upside down. That's easy to tell, but sometimes these doors have round knobs, and it might be a little harder to tell, so always make sure the larger panel is up top. This is the panel right here, and this is a panel. So just make sure the larger one is at the top. All right, we're going to hang these doors and we'll get right back with you. All right, give me thumbs up when I can talk. All right, now that we have the doors attached to the cabinet, the next step is to fasten this cabinet to the wall. And the way you fasten this cabinet to the wall is go up top, find 2 studs with a stud finder, like this. Any hardware store has one. Once you find 2 studs, you set the L bracket on the roof and the other part up against the wall, and you have 2 holes at each end. So you run 2 screws through the bottom into the roof. You run 2 screws through the upper part of the L bracket into studs. This is very important that you hit studs, because that really attaches this cabinet firmly to the wall. I'll get right back with you. All right, now that the cabinet is attached to the wall, I'll get the camera to go on the roof, and you can see how the L brackets are fastened to the roof and to the wall. So can you go up there and show them? All right, now that that's attached to the wall, before you do that, make sure your cabinet is level and the doors are lined up. All right, before we install the mechanism, you want to make sure the false floor is attached to the sides of the cabinet with L brackets. And you also want to make sure that the leveler feet are pushed down on the floor and that the cabinet is level and sitting how you'd like. Remember, you want the doors lined up and you want the cabinet up against the wall. So come on down here, Sergio, and we'll show them these L brackets. You got 2 L brackets on each side. You use 3/4 inch long screws to attach it to the side and to the floor. And you also put a flathead screwdriver in these feet. Make sure they're pushed down. Like that. And you have the same thing on the other side. So that's it for right now. We'll get the mechanism, we'll put it in, and we'll explain how that's attached. Now that we have the mechanism sitting on the base, the next thing you would do is fasten the control arm assembly to the base, and that's done right here. You run your machine screw through this shaft right here, through this arm right here, put a nylon washer on the other side of it. Do you see the nylon washer? Right here. You may have to turn a little bit there, Sergio. All right, so you run the bolt through this arm, then you put the nylon washer in it, then you run the bolt through the base, through the arm on the base, then you put a nut on the other end. And then that's the control arm assembly fastened to the base. And what that does is when you lower the bed down, this leg here comes automatically out and hits the floor. After that is done, you mount your springs. We're putting 4 springs on each side of this mechanism because it has a Tempur-Pedic mattress on it and it's heavy. If you have a lighter mattress and you put that many springs on and the bed goes up itself, you want to take some of the springs off. It's okay to have 4 springs on one side, 3 on the other. You don't want 2 on one side and 4 on the other. You can have 1 difference, that's okay. And how you fasten the springs is by connecting the bottom hook of the spring to the base. It's on the floor there. Use a screwdriver, flathead, hold it in the hole here, lift the spring up, and just pop it in the hole. That's how you fasten all the springs. The next thing you'll want to do is fasten the mercury switch to the foundation. This is the foundation. This is the mercury switch. This one's already fastened on one side. All you do is run a 3/4 inch screw through each hole on the mercury switch. For the mercury switch to work correctly, there is an up and down. This weld spot needs to be up. And when you mount this, you want to make sure that you mount it on a board in here that's going across. And we have this one right here. Sometimes they're a little lower, but just make sure you don't screw it into cardboard or something like that. You want a solid piece of wood. That's where you screw it into. Once that's screwed in, then you're ready to plug the one end of this into the wall and the other end into your lights. Remember, this is what turns off the lights when the bed is up. So it's important that you have this mounted and mounted correctly. That's good. Now I want to give you a demonstration on how to operate this Murphy bed. You take the door, open it up, pull it to the side, attach it with the other door with the bifold magnet. This right here is the bifold magnet. Make sure it's to the side so when you lower the bed it doesn't hit the doors. Grab the pull bar and just pull the bed down. The strap goes over the mattress to hold it in place, and you can undo the strap when you sleep on it. Here's a dimmer switch. And when you lift the bed up, make sure the lights go out. You can leave them on, or you can leave it off, it's up to you. But the mercury switch should automatically turn off the lights when you raise the bed. If the lights ever stay on when you have the bed up, unplug the lights because something is wrong, and it's dangerous because it's a fire hazard. The lights are very close to the mattress. If you ever leave for a lengthy time with the lights on and the bed up, it could start a fire. Then just shut the doors like this. Now if you ever have wall units that go with your Murphy bed, you level the wall units up to the side of the Murphy bed cabinet. I'm putting a flathead screwdriver in these holes, like this, turning it clockwise, raising that part of the unit up. Now when you do that, you do want to take the weight off the cabinet. You can't raise the cabinet by simply turning the foot. Tip it back, turn the leg down, and let it fall back down. This Murphy bed has a spacer bar right here, so you just level it up against the side. If you don't have a spacer bar, you can attach the top with this. You run a 3/4 inch screw on this side, then you just tighten this up like that till it's snug. And you mount that up top there. This only works if you don't have a spacer bar. And if you have more than one wall unit, you can do the same. You can attach one wall unit to another one at the top only with this. Okay, that's it. That's how you assemble a Murphy bed with spacer bar and wall units if you got them. And if you have any further trouble, please feel free to call us and we'll assist you the best way we can. Bye-bye.